Laskin Corla, can I extend a word of welcome to the Monaghan Women's Assembly and other guests. Ach ba Watlum Fáilte Mór a Corriv Cara Darmody, who is about to complete her 50-hour sleep out, again raising awareness of the scandal of children waiting for assessment of needs. Tá Fáilte wrote Cara. Minister, since yesterday, the depth of public anger at your government's decision to withdraw funding supports for blister pack medication has been laid bare. The reaction has been extraordinary. Pharmacists and carers have been inundated with messages of fear and disbelief. People who have never contacted a TD before have been calling constituency offices begging for someone to act. Yesterday, the Taoiseach at least conceded that he would look at this issue. But today's newspaper tell us that the Fine Gael Minister Jennifer Carroll McNeill is not budging. She's refusing to recognise the disaster that she's presiding over. Vulnerable people who depend on blister packs are being told by a Fine Gael minister that they will face fees in the new year, that they're on their own. It's a Scrooge-like response the week before Christmas. Blister packs are not a luxury, they're a lifeline. Tens of thousands rely on them. Older people managing multiple medications, people with dementia or Alzheimer's, those with intellectual disabilities, brain injuries, mental health challenges. Carers and frontline workers know exactly what will happen without them, because these packs allow people to live independently. They prevent confusion, mixed doses, missed doses and double dosing. The human stories coming in since yesterday are stark. We heard from a woman caring for her grandmother whose medication changes constantly due to supply issues. Without blister packs, which she cannot afford to pay for, her grandmother loses her independence. We heard from frontline workers deeply worried about their frail clients living alone, often taking 10 or more tablets a day, confused over which tablets to take and when. We heard from families caring for loved ones with dementia who finally adapted to blister packs after enormous effort, and they now feel abandoned. One daughter wrote about her 91-year-old mother who lives alone, already battling rising bills and who relies on blister packs to remain safe at home. She said, this is a direct quote, "Taking this away will destroy her independence." These are not isolated stories. And this is occurring in the middle of a cost of living crisis. Today, the CSO has announced a rise in annual inflation, almost twice the rate projected by government. So when people are told that blister packs may now cost 20, 30, even €50 a month, they simply cannot absorb it. Minister, the contrast couldn't be starker. Your government has found billions for developers, for banks, for landlords, yet when it comes to older people, dementia patients, people on disability payments, the approach suddenly becomes penny pinching. This is a political choice, not a financial necessity. And here's the most troubling part. These concerns are not new. Sinn Féin's health spokesperson David Cullinan raised this with government back in October during the community pharmacy agreement debate. He warned that narrowing supports for monitoring dosage systems would expose vulnerable patients to new charges, but those warnings were ignored. So we now have a decision by a Fine Gael minister that will increase costs for vulnerable patients, undermine medication adherence, overwhelm carers and potentially lead to avoidable GP visits and hospital admissions. A decision that pharmacists, carers and frontline workers say is a false economy. So, Minister, I want to put some clear questions to you. Why is blister pack support being removed without any impact assessment, without any consultation and without any plan for those who depend on them? Why were warnings from pharmacists, from carers and from Sinn Féin ignored? And will the government now act immediately to reverse this decision and protect vulnerable patients from real harm?
Minister Donovan.
Gurmagut las Concorla, agus Idisach, son Mafarti in a Gael, agus son Oireachtas, but William Covron, a yen of Le Clown, Paddy Cooney, a Kailok, Irene Shachtana. Paddy Cooney was a former Minister for Justice. I noted the flag was at half-mast over the House today. Former TD for Longford Westmeath, former Senator. Was a great advocate in this Dáil for the people of Longford and Westmeath, and did a huge amount of work to protect our democracy in the face of many people who sought to undermine it and subvert it over many, many years. And on behalf of my party and on behalf of the wider government, I want to extend my sympathies to the Cooney family family and Oireachtas go raibh anam dílis ní raibh le héad ann Oireach. Last Count Corla, yesterday the Taoiseach was asked in relation to the issue that Deputy Carthy raised, and he gave a substantial answer with regard to what the government has been doing over the last number of years, particularly in relation to health and social protection for those that are the most vulnerable. And he outlined to the House, and I'm going to use the opportunity again today to spell out, I suppose, in many ways, the supports that the government are giving for the least well-off and the most vulnerable in our societies. And he gave a lot of detail with regard to the drug payment scheme and how it operates. And under the drug payment scheme, cardholders and their families only have to pay a maximum of €80 per month for approved prescribed drugs and medicines. And this has improved dramatically over the last number of years. And the resources that the government have available to us, thanks to the economic growth that has been made available through the financial policies that we have been pursued, which have been all, I think, objected to by Deputy Carthy and his family or his party, have resulted, same difference, have resulted in us being in a position to invest very heavily into the areas of health and social protection. And last week alone, the most vulnerable in our society saw the Christmas bonus started to be paid out. Now, the Taoiseach in his response yesterday also acknowledged that for many people, the operation of, and I have personal experience of this myself, the operation of dispensing and taking of tablets on a daily basis is something that some people do require assistance with, and for some people that operate on their own, it can be quite daunting. The Taoiseach in his response yesterday outlined that he believes that there is still an opportunity for the HSE to engage with the Irish Pharmacy Union over the time ahead to see if this issue can be further discussed. And as what, on the same lines as what the Taoiseach said yesterday, I think that opportunity is there. He outlined why he believes that this is important, and the importance of the drug payment scheme and the blister packs and how they have supported people over many, many years. But the reality is here as well is that health has now the largest budget that it has ever had, 27 billion into health for 2026. It's not an insignificant amount of money, and I know the party opposite laid out their proposals with regard to health and social protection and a number of other areas which didn't include everything that the government did include, particularly in the area of social protection for budget 2026, but yet derided the government for the things that we did include for social protection. So the Taoiseach in his response yesterday outlined that the opportunity still exists for the HSE to engage with the Irish Pharmacy Union, and I expect that engagement to happen.
Dr. Carthy.
So the Minister talks about spelling it out. I'll spell it out again for you, Minister. People are struggling with a cost of living crisis, and you don't get that. People with disabilities or care needs are particularly struggling, and you don't get that. And the way we know that you don't get that is because there are people, vulnerable people, who need blister packs to get by in their day-to-day lives, to have some semblance of independence, currently get those blister packs free of charge. And your Scrooge-like government, through your Scrooge-like minister, are going to charge them 20, 30, maybe even €50 a month come the new year. So what I'm asking you, Minister, is to finally get it. Finally get live to the fact that people are going through really tough times, and rather than a kick in the teeth from government, they need a little bit of support, and what they need above all is that the supports that are currently in place aren't removed. So you didn't answer my question directly, and I'll ask you again. Please will you give assurance to those people who rely on blister packs that you will not impose these charges in January, that you will finally hear the cries that are coming into all of our constituency offices for just a little bit of understanding on the part of this out-of-touch government.
Minister.
Thanks, Les Concora. Deputy Carthy, you do a very good job of pretending that you have a monopoly on people's concerns in this country. But what's the one thing that you never mention is the economy or jobs or anything as to where the actual wealth in the country comes from. I think it's something that your party is incapable of understanding, that the income into this state, I didn't interrupt you. The income into this state and its ability to spend money is derived from the strong economy, all of the policies of which you and your party have objected to. And just in relation, sorry, if you, I know it's a tactic that you use. I know, and you do sometimes you do it quite well, but you're actually showing yourself up for trying to shout people down. If you may just listen, you said a while ago that we've done nothing with regard to cost of living measures, and this has been said. Sorry, and like I don't know who the questioner is supposed to be here today, but time and time again you bring this up that the government, in relation to the government's issues with regard to cost of living. And I'm going to put it on the record of the House again, because you have already said something that is clearly not true. We're introducing the largest ever child support benefit. We've introduced back to school clothing and footwear allowance. We're increasing the domiciliary care allowance. And as late as yesterday, one of your own party colleagues asked me to hike up the charge for people on their Netflix account. Now, had I done that yesterday, Deputy Carthy, you would be in here today with the same old cant, and with the same old cant as always, that we're not taxing enough.
Thank you, Minister. Please conclude.
Sorry, if I could answer to
Sorry,
Deputy Carthy, you want your cake and eat
your seat, Deputy.
You want your cake and eat it. You want to tax everybody. You want to tax everybody and pretend you live in a world where everything is free.
Can you please resume your seat? We'll come back to that, yeah. I'm not prepared to join you in the shouting match that goes on every Thursday morning. So I'd ask you to just please. Have you something to say, Dr. Minister? You should be. You know your place. I'd ask you to please conduct yourself.